We did it, guys! We have reached 100 subscribers, which is honestly the best feeling in the world. I am incredibly grateful for all the support I have received so far. I know my content isn't perfect, but I am willing to give it my best. My hope is that my stories will help you fall asleep. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Let's work together to reach 1,000 subscribers. With that being said, I hope you enjoy this story. Chapter 1: The Beginning of a Dream. Murmurs sat in front of her camera, adjusting the lighting and checking the sound settings. She took a big breath and began to talk. Welcome to Midnight Murmur, the channel where you may experience the power of storytelling to help you go asleep, she remarked, her voice quiet and comforting. My name is Murmur, and I'm here to accompany you on a journey to a good night's sleep. She stopped for a bit, thinking about how to effectively introduce herself and her channel. She had been working on this project for months, putting her heart and soul into writing stories that would help people relax and drift off to sleep. Finally, it was time to share her ambition with the world. I've always been a storyteller, she added. Ever since I was a small girl, I would weave tales to my friends and family, taking them on journeys to far-off regions and enchanting forests. As I got older, I understood that storytelling was more than simply a hobby. It was a chance to connect with others and make a difference in their lives. Murmur leaned forward, her eyes shining with eagerness. That's why I made this channel. I want to help those who battle with sleep, who toss and turn at night, who feel nervous and burdened. I want to establish a sanctuary where they can come and find serenity, where they can let go of their troubles and fall into a world of dreams. She grinned, feeling a sense of exhilaration and expectation developing within her. Therefore, if you're ready to start on a journey of relaxation and peace, please join me. Let my midnight murmurs take you off to a realm of blissful sleep and beautiful dreams. As Murmur finished her introduction, she hit the record button and began to tell her first story. It was a simple tale, a peaceful lullaby that she had composed years ago, but as she said the words, she felt a feeling of enchantment in the air. The world around her appeared to slip away, and all that was left was her voice, weaving a spell of serenity and comfort. As she finished the story and turned off the camera, Murmur knew that this was just the beginning of her journey. There would be barriers and challenges ahead, but she was determined to keep going. She had a dream, and she was going to do all in her ability to make it come true. Chapter 2: The First Video. Murmur sat in front of her camera, her pulse beating in her chest. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. She took a deep breath and pushed record. Welcome to Midnight Murmur, she whispered, her voice calm and pleasant. Tonight, I'm going to share with you a story that I hope will help you relax and drift off to sleep. Murmur began to read her narrative, the words flowing freely from her lips. As she spoke, she imagined all the people out there, watching her video and letting her words soothe them to sleep. When she finished the story, she turned off the camera and uploaded the video to her channel. She had a feeling of joy and success, but as the days went, she began to feel discouraged. Her video had barely a few views, and she had attracted no new followers. Murmur felt a tremendous feeling of dissatisfaction and despair. She had worked so hard on her films, and it looked like no one was interested. But then, she remembered herself of why she launched this channel in the first place, to assist people relax and go asleep. She couldn't give up now. So, she continued to create videos, day after day. She put her heart and soul into each one, hoping that someone out there might find solace and serenity in her words. As the days progressed into weeks, Murmur began to gather a modest following. She received her first comment, a letter from someone who had fallen asleep to one of her stories and praised her for the lovely night's slumber. Murmur sensed a glimpse of optimism. She had made a difference in someone's life, and that was all she needed to keep going. She proceeded to publish a new video every day, pouring her creativity and emotion into each one. The views steadily began to grow, and she got a handful of new subscribers. But Murmur knew that she still had a long way to go before she reached her goal of 100 subscribers, and even further until she reached 1,000. But she was ready for the challenge, and determined to keep going no matter what obstacles lay ahead. Chapter 3: The First Subscriber. Murmur wakes up to a notification on her phone and sees that someone has subscribed to her channel. She can't help but feel excited and happy, as it's the first subscriber she has ever gotten. She immediately checks the comments section and finds a comment from the same subscriber, thanking her for the peaceful and restful sleep they had. Murmur feels a sense of hope and encouragement for her channel's future, as she realizes that people are actually finding value in her content. She decides to make a special video to thank her first subscriber and all the viewers who have been supporting her. In the video, she tells the story of how she first started creating sleep-inducing stories and how it has always been her dream to help people relax and drift off to sleep. She thanks her viewers for giving her the chance to do what she loves and promises to continue creating content that helps them. Murmur also takes this opportunity to talk about her commitment to daily uploads. She understands the importance of consistency in building an audience, and wants her viewers to know that they can count on her to upload a new video every day. She emphasizes that her channel is a safe space for people to unwind and relax, and encourages them to leave comments or suggestions for future videos. As she finishes the video, Murmur can't help but feel grateful and content. She's starting to see her dream come to fruition, one subscriber at a time. Chapter 4: Daily Uploads. Murmur commits to posting a video every day, and enjoys both the struggle and excitement of producing new stories each day. She wakes up each morning, takes a cup of coffee, and starts thinking ideas for her next video. Occasionally, the idea comes quickly, and she spends hours writing and recording the narrative. Other times, she struggles to find the perfect narrative and spends the whole day writing and editing. Murmur feels a range of emotions throughout this process, from irritation and tiredness to contentment and joy. Despite the hurdles, she remains devoted to her daily upload schedule, understanding that consistency is vital to developing a successful channel. Through this chapter, readers get a glimpse of the dedication and hard work it takes to create content every day, and the toll it can take on a creator's mental and emotional health. Murmur also begins to realize the impact her videos are having on people. She receives more comments and letters from people who have found solace and relaxation in her writings, and this fires her desire even more. She recognizes that her material has the capacity to make a good influence in people's lives, and this inspires her to keep going. Chapter 5: The Power of Storytelling. Murmur had just completed releasing her newest video and was going through the comments area when she spotted a statement that drew her eye. It came from a fan who had been battling with anxiety and sleeplessness and had happened into Murmur's channel by chance. The viewer had listened to one of Murmur's stories and found it so relaxing that they had been able to go asleep comfortably, for the first time in weeks. Murmur was affected by the message and felt a feeling of achievement that her effort was making a difference in people's lives. She replied to the viewer's remark, thanking them for sharing their tale and expressing her thanks for being able to help in any tiny manner. Murmur had always believed in the power of narrative, but this message reminded her of exactly how influential her work might be. She felt a newfound sense of purpose and devotion to her channel and the individuals who relied on her to help them sleep. Over the next few days, Murmur read through more of the comments on her videos and realized just how many people were benefiting from her stories. She got comments from people all around the world, complimenting her for her soothing voice, clever storytelling, and relaxing presence. Murmur was overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and thanks, and she felt that she had found her true vocation in life. As Murmur sat down to write her next story, she thought about all the people who would be listening to it and the impact it could have on their lives. She thought about the viewer who had messaged her and how much her tale had meant to them. Murmur felt a feeling of obligation to provide the finest information possible, to benefit as many people as possible. As she wrote, Murmur felt a sense of calm and focus wash over her. She had always liked storytelling, but it wasn't until she started her channel that she discovered exactly how much it meant to her. It wasn't just about crafting pleasant stories, it was about connecting with people and making a difference in their lives. Murmur knew that she had found her mission, and she was going to do all in her ability to make the most of it. The days and weeks passed, and Murmur continued to produce and publish new stories every day. Her channel continued to develop, and she attracted more and more subscribers every week. Murmur was happy to see her hard work paying off, but she also knew that she couldn't allow it go to her head. She stayed focused on her aim of helping people relax and fall asleep, and she continued to pour her heart and soul into each new narrative. Murmur's breakthrough on YouTube had also opened up new options for her. She was invited to speak at a sleep conference, where she lectured about the significance of relaxing and the power of storytelling. She was also interviewed by various media agencies, who were captivated by her novel approach to sleep treatment. Despite it all, Murmur remained modest and appreciative. She realized that she had been given a gift, and she was determined to utilize it for good. As she looked back on her journey, from the first video she had published to the present day, Murmur felt a sense of awe and wonder. She had started with a dream and a laptop, and now she had a global following of individuals who relied on her to help them sleep. It was more than she could have ever imagined, and she was thankful every day for the opportunity to do what she loved. As the sun began to set on another day, Murmur sat down at her desk to write her next story. She took a deep breath and began to type, the words pouring freely from her hands. She knew that her audience was waiting, anxious to hear her latest masterpiece. And while she wrote, Murmur realized that she was not simply producing a tale, but she was generating a sensation of tranquility and pleasure for her listeners. She understood that her words had the potential to transfer her audience to a realm of tranquility and calmness, where they might let go of their troubles and drift off into a pleasant slumber. As she finished her story, Murmur smiled to herself, feeling a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. She realized that her job was far from finished, but she was glad for the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Murmur closed her laptop and stood up from her desk, experiencing a sense of happiness and serenity. She strolled up to her window and stared out at the stars flashing in the night sky. Murmur felt a great feeling of thankfulness for the trip that had gotten her to where she was today. She understood that there were problems ahead, but she was ready to confront them head-on, equipped with the power of storytelling and a passion to helping others. As she stood there, soaking in the splendor of the night sky, Murmur made a silent commitment to herself and her listeners. She committed to continue to write stories that would help others relax, to utilize her ability for good, and to never forget the influence that her work had on others. And with that, Murmur moved away from the window, ready to face whatever the future contained, armed with the power of storytelling and a heart full of thankfulness. Chapter 6: Doubts and Fears. Murmur was seated at her desk, looking at the blank paper in front of her. She had been doing this for hours, attempting to come up with a new narrative that would help her viewers relax and go asleep. She had always been brilliant at this, but lately, she had been feeling stuck. She couldn't help but mistrust her ability as a storyteller. What if she wasn't good enough? What if people stopped viewing her videos? What if she failed? These ideas overtook her, and she began to feel frightened and stressed. She took a long breath and attempted to clear her head. She remembered why she had launched this channel in the first place, to help people relax and go asleep. She had gotten innumerable comments and mails from viewers telling her how much her films had benefited them. She couldn't give up now. Murmur decided to take a break and went for a walk. As she strolled through the park, she noticed the beauty around her, the green trees, the chirping birds, the blue sky. She felt a sensation of serenity sweep over her, and her thoughts began to clear. When she returned home, she sat down at her desk and began to write. She started with a simple narrative about a bird chirping in the morning, and as she wrote, she felt the words flow smoothly from her imagination to the page. She recognized that the doubts and anxieties that had been holding her back were simply in her brain. She was good enough, and she was making a difference in people's lives. As the days passed by, Murmur proceeded to produce new stories, each one greater than the last. She still had moments of uncertainty and anxiety, but she had learned to push through them. She understood that the path ahead would be tough, but she was ready for it. Murmur has gone a long way. When she initially launched her channel, she had overcome numerous challenges, but she had never given up. She had learned to trust herself and her skills, and most significantly, she had learned the power of narrative. She understood that her stories had the capacity to bring serenity and relaxation to people's lives, and she was glad for the opportunity to share them. As she turned off the camera after recording her latest video, Murmur smiled to herself. She had found the strength to push past her doubts and anxieties, and she believed that she could face any obstacle that lied ahead. Murmur was seated at her desk, looking at the blank paper in front of her. She had been doing this for hours, attempting to come up with a new narrative that would help her viewers relax and go asleep. She had always been brilliant at this, but lately, she had been feeling stuck. She couldn't help but mistrust her ability as a storyteller. What if she wasn't good enough? What if people stopped viewing her videos? What if she failed? These ideas overtook her, and she began to feel frightened and stressed. She took a long breath and attempted to clear her head. She remembered why she had launched this channel in the first place, to help people relax and go asleep. She had gotten innumerable comments and mails from viewers telling her how much her films had benefited them. She couldn't give up now. Murmur decided to take a break and went for a walk. As she strolled through the park, she noticed the beauty around her, the green trees, the chirping birds, the blue sky. She felt a sensation of serenity sweep over her, and her thoughts began to clear. When she returned home, she sat down at her desk and began to write. She started with a simple narrative about a bird chirping in the morning, and as she wrote, she felt the words flow smoothly from her imagination to the page. She recognized that the doubts and anxieties that had been holding her back were simply in her brain. She was good enough, and she was making a difference in people's lives. As the days passed by, Murmur proceeded to produce new stories, each one greater than the last. She still had moments of uncertainty and anxiety, but she had learned to push through them. She understood that the path ahead would be tough, but she was ready for it. Murmur has gone a long way. When she initially launched her channel, she had overcome numerous challenges, but she had never given up. She had learned to trust herself and her skills, and most significantly, she had learned the power of narrative. She understood that her stories had the capacity to bring serenity and relaxation to people's lives, and she was glad for the opportunity to share them. As she turned off the camera after recording her latest video, Murmurs smiled to herself. She had found the strength to push past her doubts and anxieties, and she believed that she could face any obstacle that lied ahead. Chapter 7: 100 Subscribers. Murmur wakes up to a notification on her phone that her channel has hit 100 subscribers. She leaps out of bed and hurries to her computer to check her stats. Sure enough, there it is. Midnight Murmurs has accomplished her first important milestone. She feels a feeling of success and pride, but also a sense of gratitude for her subscribers who have supported her along the road. Over the past few months, Murmur has worked tirelessly to create content that helps people relax and fall asleep. She has overcome several problems, from writer's block to technological issues, but she has never given up. She has remained devoted to her ambition, and now she can see that it is paying off. As she reflects on her journey, Murmur realizes that reaching 100 subscribers is not just a number. It signifies the innumerable hours of hard work and attention she has put into her channel. It depicts the influence she has had on people's lives, helping them find calm and relaxation in a world that can be hectic and chaotic. It signifies the support and inspiration she has gotten from her subscribers, who have believed in her and her mission from the beginning. Murmur decides to film a special video to thank her viewers for helping her reach this milestone. In the video, she expresses her thanks and explains some of the struggles she has experienced along the road. She talks about the sleepless nights and the moments of uncertainty, but also about the joy and fulfillment she has found in generating material that helps people. She also reveals some of her intentions for the future, including new tales and concepts she has been working on. As she finishes the video, Murmur feels a sense of peace and contentment. She has completed her first major objective, but she realizes that there is still so much more to do. She is enthusiastic to continue creating material that helps others relax and fall asleep, and to see where this path will lead her next. The milestone of 100 subscribers has not only given Murmur a sense of success, but also a sense of purpose. She understands that her channel is making a difference in people's lives, and she is determined to keep going. She recognizes that the path ahead will not be simple, but she is ready for whatever trials come her way. With a grin on her face and a sense of purpose in her heart, Murmur begins to organize her next video, eager to assist her subscribers drift off to sleep once more. Chapter 8: A New Challenge. Murmur had done it. She had surpassed her target of 100 subscribers and was now collecting more views and likes on her videos than ever before, but suddenly, she wanted more. She aspired to reach 1,000 subscribers. As she sat in front of her camera, preparing to record her next video, she felt a sense of anticipation and excitement. She had come so far, but she realized there was still a long way to go. She needed to keep pushing herself, keep generating new and entertaining material, and maintain developing her channel. But it wouldn't be easy. Murmur realized that the competition was tough, and there were numerous other YouTubers out there fighting for the same viewership. She wanted to find a way to stand out from the throng, to offer something distinctive and captivating that would keep people coming back for more. Over the next few days, Murmur spent countless hours brainstorming and experimenting, trying out new ideas and formats to see what worked and what didn't. She sought out to other creators for guidance and comments, and she even started visiting conferences and meetings to network and learn from others in the business. Despite her efforts, however, Murmur still struggled to acquire momentum. Her views and subscribers remained flat, and she felt disillusioned and frustrated. But she refused to give up. She realized that developing a successful YouTube channel takes time and effort, and she was eager to put in the work. She continued to generate fresh material, to communicate with her audience, and to push herself to be better. And slowly but surely, things started to alter. Murmur's videos began to garner more views, and she started to receive more comments and feedback from her fans. She experimented with various forms and styles, and she started collaborating with other producers to widen her reach. As her channel continued to develop, Murmur felt a feeling of satisfaction and success. She had set herself a new objective and had worked relentlessly to attain it. She had learned so much along the road, about herself, about her audience, and about the power of narrative. Reflecting back on her path, Murmur recognized that success wasn't only about obtaining a specific amount of subscribers or views. It was about the voyage itself, about the people she had met, the tales she had told, and the influence she had made on others. And with that revelation, Murmur realized that she was ready for whatever trials were ahead. She was determined to keep pushing herself, to keep developing and changing, and to keep utilizing her platform to make a positive change in the world. Thanks for tuning in to Midnight Murmurs. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and sweet dreams.